Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
I got 15. Just got a 15 commitment.
15 commitments? Okay.
Transfer portal commitment. I know people want to talk about the one that didn't happen, but I'm pretty happy with the way it's played out so far.
I am. Got a pass rusher in. You got a receiver. I like the Horton kid. I watched some of the Alabama
He's 6'4",
games.
right?
Yeah, big guy. So
Big
they could use a guy like that. Look, let's stop being disingenuous. We wanted Cam Coleman.
Yeah, I wanted him.
But this
Not
is
anymore.
This is a nice reaction. I don't know that Horton is the. I don't know if he's the game breaker that Coleman potentially is, but he's a really good player.
Yeah, look, you lost to them on the field. Makes a difference. Sorry, it does. And
they probably. Is that $4 million accurate?
Whatever the reports are, he's no. So the way I look at that is, he's somebody else's problem, or success, whatever he is, right? Like that. I don't have to worry about that. Look, we may have to worry about that when they play, right? Like because a couple years ago in overtime and against Auburn, he was excellent.
Yeah, he was, and I would say against that secondary, a lot of people were excellent. He didn't do anything against the Aggies this year. Now, you could say, well, he didn't have a good quarterback to throw to him, and that's fair.
Makes a difference.
Yeah. A&M's going to have to – I'm not going to worry about him until sometime next November.
You know what I like about it, though?
What's that?
You don't get what was considered the prize of this class, okay? But within seconds, minutes, hours, whatever, you got yourself a 5-star caliber player, a guy who's played at a high level for a couple years, immediately after. So it's not like you lost, right? You got one of the Miss America finalists. You got a really good guy, Isaiah Horton.
Good player, very good player, and I think the receiver room got better.
Yeah.
I felt really good about that, and hopefully, who knows? Maybe they'll add another one.
The way I think people look at portal is the way they look at coaches. They want a name. They want to know who this guy is. They want to. It's kind of like free agency in pro sports, the NBA. Like, I want Kevin Durant. They because that's what the headlines. That's what you're accustomed to seeing. But I actually had a great conversation with my brother yesterday, and I was like, Cassius Howell is a reason to believe in what this team is doing. He's like, wait, Cassius Howell didn't start here at A&M? No, he started at Bowling Green. A&M has the ability under Mike Elko and other coaches as well to develop the guys that they have that have something. I think Des Ricks has developed quite well at Texas A&M. Armaje Reed Adams, not a lot of people knew who he was. So A&M has the ability to, I believe, get the best out of the players and some of them become all SEC caliber players.
We've talked about this before. How do you not just trust Mike Elko almost blindly because of the success rate he's had in the portal? And it hasn't been guys that, like you said, are big names. It's guys that can come in, and I guess he envisions, he and his staff envisions what this guy can be, and then try to use him that way. I think Tyler Onyedem's a great example. I think Nate Bokacher was a great example.
Yeah.
there are others. Scooby was a good example. So, and Holman Wiggins knows this Horton kid, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's signing off on it, then, again, they got a really good player. Did they get the home run hitter that everybody was hoping for? No. But they got a really good player, and they've already got a home run hitter in Mario Craver, and maybe really even Ashton Bethel Roman. So, again, they got better at receiver.
They absolutely got better at receiver. And if you look at that receiver room in total, I mean, they've got, I don't know if they're going to get the level of play that they got from Malachi Toney from their freshmen and Aaron Gregory, Madden Williams, some of the guys. I don't know if they're going to get that, but they got some dudes this year coming in that if it's not this year, it's next year that they're going to develop. And hopefully Jerome Miles, I know he hasn't played football in a couple years, but we remember the potential that he had, right? Hopefully he lives up to part of that potential. I mean, I say part because when you've missed as much football as he's missed, you don't know.
Did he not play at all his senior year?
I think he got hurt early on. Cooper Patterson.
A few games at least.
Yeah, a couple games early on. But, it's been a while for him. I remember how excited I was when he signed with A&M. And I remember seeing his size. And even heading into last season, thinking maybe this guy will end up being a player. But Aaron, there's a lot of talent in that wide receiver room.
Absolutely. Bussy, who knows what they're going to do with him?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, and you said they got better at receiver and they weren't bad. So maybe they don't have the big name, but they have done really well without the quote big name.
Right. By the way, Isaiah Horton did spend the first 3 years of his career at the University of Miami. I don't remember I
guess he does. I guess Holman does.
Right. But
I'm sure he recruited him.
Cooper, if you can look up if he did anything against A&M in those two, I mean, in 22 he only had one reception. I don't think
he had
so.
a touchdown against us in 2023.
Okay.
On a big play, broke a tackle.
Looks like his only touchdown of that year.
Yeah.
So, hopefully he'll have a lot this year for Texas A&M.
Hopefully. What, did he have 8 touchdowns catches last year?
8 touchdowns last year.
3 against Auburn. I like that. A guy coming out and, going off against
his rival.
A rival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it again.
I like that as well. The other thing I like about this class, OB, and I said this on Friday, but I'm going to kind of switch the way I look at it. On Friday, I talked about, look at all this SEC experience that they're getting on the offensive line. Now, a couple of guys from LSU, South Carolina, they've got some really nice. But if you look at how they've done overall, you're bringing in some experience to this team. Mm-hmm. Not all SEC experience, but you're bringing in. Well, you are bringing in a lot of SEC experience with Ricky Gibson coming in from Tennessee. But linebackers and Coney. All right, Sanford played a lot of football last year. I was very happy with the way Damian said. So that linebacker room that we had some questions about, you bring in Coney, who hopefully replaces what Torian York did for you. And you've got some young guys in Jordan Lockhart and Noah McHale and Damian Sanford, who proved himself last year, that hopefully that elevates that room. But you just go around, defensive tackle brought up some guys with experience. Your quarterback has a lot of experience.
Yeah, all those things you just said, I'm agreeing with. The only thing I'm going to add to it is, you brought in experience in the defensive line, and that's important. And I understand that Ohio State wanted the kid from Colorado, too. So that's always good. But I'm really high on the possibilities of the guys you already have here.
Yeah.
Hicks is coming back. And then Landon Rink, I thought played well when he got the opportunities. And DJ Sanders, I think, has star potential. So I'm very optimistic about the interior line on defense again.
Yeah, and on the outside, Marco Jones, who played a lot as a freshman, what does he turn into this year?
Yeah, we'll see. I know there's a lot of potential there, and we've liked the flashes, but, we'll see. I don't want to take it for granted and say, okay, now there's a guy that's going to go in and get 8 sacks, because I've been in that position before where you just think the next guy who's got a lot of potential and has shown flashes doesn't do what you expect. But again, very optimistic and open-minded about Marco Jones.
National championship is set. People predicted this a long, long time ago. Everyone had Indiana versus Miami when the brackets came out.
Everybody, okay. Indiana.
What a beatdown again.
Man, that was really that was it was beyond impressive. That was almost shocking.
Yeah.
The way they just dominated Oregon from the first play, pick six. And, Oregon responded, but then after that, it was just all Indiana. Fernando Mendoza was great. His receivers were great. How good is that guy throwing the back shoulder?
Oh, I know.
And then Miami, I have to give Carson Beck some respect.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss, too. Ole Miss had a chance to win that game and let it get away from them. That was exciting. But so Indiana and Miami.
Well, if you look at it, Indiana has outscored their opponents in the playoffs 94-25. And 22 of those points came from Oregon in a game where...
But they will be facing, without a doubt, the strongest defense they've faced since Ohio State.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And maybe better than Ohio State.
Not the offense that Ohio State has, but an offense that is sneaky explosive.
The offense that is surging.
Yeah.
Was Fletcher... I got to find out about that. Was that guy kind of hurt some in the
He was hurt a little bit, yes.
So now you're seeing this running game and Tony, such an explosive guy. And then they got some receivers that can make plays. So they're probably at least the same offense. They may be right now, the same offense as Ohio State.
Well, they certainly control the line of scrimmage in these games, right? What they're going to do is they're going to do ball control, very similar to what I think A&M was trying to do this year, right? And had that damn break in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I can see that. And A&M had a chance, as we all know. I think when that game is played next Monday, I think I will be taking Indiana, but
not surprised if Miami.
But
wins.
not surprised. Just like we were talking about last week, we were talking about Miami. Yeah, I'm picking Miami, but don't be surprised if Ole Miss wins it, and they dang near did.
They dang near did.
So I think it might be. I think it's going to be a close game, a great championship game. But I think Indiana will win.
We're going to talk some Aggie basketball in the next segment, but they do beat Oklahoma for their sixth straight victory. Another game where they're stronger at the end than other teams. They kind of wear them down.
Yeah, and Oklahoma, we'll get into it more, but the Oklahoma coach, Porter Moser, actually acknowledged it. He said, yeah, we're probably tired because some of those three-point shots that were just raining down early started going off the front iron.
Yep. Hey, this is TexAgs Live.
TexAgs Live, brought to you by Jim of a guy, David Gardner-Schuler's.
Yeah, in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason and Jackson and the boys, Keith and Morgan, all
the
of
whole crew. We are currently doing the Go Hour.
The Go Hour, brought to you by the Warehouse at CC Creations.
Thank you. There's a little bit of a pause, like a delay on CNN or Fox News.
I was trying to be dramatic.
Oh, dramatic.
Dramatic effect.
And all right, we are right now hanging out at a place that we haven't been here in a couple weeks because we didn't have interns. We're back.
In the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
It's just a different view of the studio. It's more comfortable. Yeah. Just two old guys, Bartles and James, drinking some wine coolers.
And we thank you for your support.
We thank you for your support. And what else?
When was the last time you had a wine cooler?
1993. Yeah. 94, probably.
I don't know if I ever had.
No?
I don't know.
Not even in high school?
No. Well, when I was in high school, they didn't even have
You ever have Strawberry Hill?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about the Mickey's?
Tickle Pink.
You ever have a Mickey's 40 ounce?
No.
Maybe I have.
A little King Cobra?
A little long time ago. There's some other ones we can get into. And all right, if you want to call the show,
you can call us on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
979-693-1150. There's also a way to text the show. That is the Catalyst Pure Performance text line. Do you know that phone number?
979-693-1150.
All right, let's go around the room, left to right, to say hi to the humans. Behind the glass is the director of the year, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, bud?
I'm great. It stinks losing out on Cam Coleman. You got to tip your cap, right? Texas did what they needed to do to get him in the boat. But if you look at the numbers, I mean, production isn't all that different, right? Isaiah Horton, 42 catches this past year, 511 yards, 8 touchdowns. Cam Coleman, 56 catches, 708 yards, 5 touchdowns. So more touchdown production from Isaiah Horton through this season. But again, probably a little bit more of a freak athlete, I guess, in Cam Coleman. But again, Horton's a good player. That's a really good pickup. And, hopefully maybe 1 or 2 more players left in this class. We'll see. But I really like the pickup of Horton and this portal class as a whole.
Yeah, and also Jackson Arnold throwing to Cam plays a part of that. That guy was not good.
He wasn't, and
neither was Peyton Thorne, by the way.
They're really, except against A&M,
yeah, one time.
They're, and this is the only one that matters, right?
Yeah.
I think they had just a bad offensive system all around.
Yeah.
But I think he had if my memory serves, when they played A&M, I think he had something like 3 catches for 16 yards. So.
Hopefully that continues. We go now to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Cooper Patterson returns to TexAgs. This guy was working here, year and some change ago?
Yeah.
But he's back.
24.
Welcome back, buddy. What have you been working on?
School. Just finished up my classes. And I didn't have a job or anything, and I was bored out of my mind. I was ready to be back.
So this is you're here a lot, right? This internship is you got some hours to do.
40 hours a week is my requirement, so
I've
been here a lot.
Awesome. Well, happy to have you back. What do you have for us this morning?
So I want to shout out our guy, Luke Evangelist. He has some absurd he's got some absurd Aggie basketball stats on his Twitter, so go check it out if you haven't already. But my favorite one from his page, specifically from the Oklahoma game, is according to KimPom, A&M has the 4th best defensive efficiency in the SEC through their first 3 conference games. And I really don't think I would have said that I thought A&M's defense was something we'd be talking about as a strong suit of this team, at least back in November when we were letting up a ton of points to teams that weren't that great. What do y'all think? Has that impressed y'all so far through SEC play?
What does defensive efficiency actually mean?
Probably points per possession kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I've been impressed with it, but I'm also going to kind of be that guy, right?
Be that guy.
And say, let's wait until they play better teams that are good in the post, post. And I'll put it this way, if they win tomorrow night, I'm all in. They can go to Knoxville and win, especially against a Tennessee team that's going to be PO'd after getting spanked by Florida and looking for redemption. If you can go there, then I'm going to start thinking, hey, you know what? That whole idea of getting to the NCAA tournament doesn't seem that outrageous anymore.
Yeah, look, it's a great start. I'm super excited about it. Now you got to go. The schedule does get a little bit more interesting. I want to see how they adjust on their defensive rebounding. I think I saw a stat that they were 98th in the country.
And that's probably not going to get a whole lot better or worse. I'll say, you know what? I need to look this up, just the SEC games. And I was trying to earlier, and I was having some trouble finding it. But their points in the paint are they've been surprisingly effective.
Aggie's so good, man.
Yeah, and they outscored Oklahoma in the paint, and if my memory serves, they outscored LSU in the paint. I don't know that they did that against Auburn, but obviously it didn't hurt them.
Right.
So I need to go back and be able to look at that. But that's an element of the team that may be a pleasant surprise. Maybe it's not a surprise at all to Bucky.
Cooper, am I right? I think Tennessee's coming off a loss too, right? They just lost.
Yeah, they just lost by 20
to Florida. Yeah. So of course they get Auburn, who had just come off a loss. They're able to navigate that on the road. Now they get to get Tennessee coming off a loss.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of Auburn, what really gets my attention is A&M won at Auburn. Okay, that's one thing. But then when Auburn goes and just beats a really good Arkansas by like 30 points, then you're like, hey, what's going on here?
Right. Yeah. So hopefully.
Just hopefully then keep it going.
Keep it going in Tennessee. All right, Coop, let's get one more.
We have a text from Brandon in College Station. He says, I'm not saying Coleman isn't talented, but Horton is a big 6'4" receiver with nearly the same yards per catch as Coleman. Looks like a possible bargain to me. We finally have a tall receiver because we didn't have that last year. I want to ask, what is the cohesion of the receiver unit now look like now that we have finally probably a guy who's a true X, who's go get the ball type of receiver that we didn't really have last year?
Well, I think we're going to find out with Holman Wiggins, right? And we're going to find out how this gels. It'll be a different look than what Casey and Mario provided you. It's going to give you that big target that you needed last year.
Yeah, because remember they even talked about moving, I'm already blanking on his name, the kid that transferred from Texas.
Nyblack.
Moved him out. Because they felt like they needed that. Well, now you've got it, and with Jerome Miles, you might have two big guys.
Yeah.
Right? He could be the steal, one of the big steals in the transfer portal forever, nationally. I mean, he's a good player, and he fits a need.
Yep.
So but how are they going to gel and cohesion? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, we got 9 months, so we got a ways to go, or 8 months.
I got a pretty good idea that, based on what we've seen from Elko and guys they've taken and not taken, he feels that this kid obviously is not just a talent, but a fit.
So I think he went to the basketball game. I know, there's no thinking. Isaiah Horton went to the basketball game. I think if you were handling the schedule, the itinerary, you would have been like, all right, the game was at 3, right?
Yeah.
Before the game, let's go get a meal.
Go to 1775.
Oh, that wasn't going. Okay,
well, that's where I would go.
Okay, well, tell me more.
I mean, if I want to impress somebody, I take them, to get some Texas barbecue.
Yep.
If I want to take some really good Texas barbecue, I'm going to take them to the best place around, 1775. I'm going to say, hey, Isaiah, try some of this succulent brisket. And he's going to try it. And he said, hey, I like this place. I say, well, try some of this jalapeno cheese sausage. He goes, even better.
Yeah.
And then he's going to say, hey, try these pork ribs. And he's says, man, College Station is not only looking, but tasting good here. And then he'll say, well, he's going to say, but I can't eat like this all the time. I'm a receiver. I got to be lean and fit. Well, hey, we got some turkey here. And he's going to say, oh my gosh, this turkey is amazing. And then they're going to have this great meal. And on the way out, they're going to say, hey, I got this, what we call queso mac and cheese. You see, I've had mac and cheese, but this is queso mac and cheese. And he's and I can see him taking a bite and go, okay, you guys got me. I'm committed.
I'm in.
I'm committed. I'm committed to the A&M. I'm committed to 1775.
And the website, by the way, if you're interested in learning all about that, 1775txbbq.com, 979-492-6241.
It's good.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. All right, we are back. I can't hear. My headphones went out, so we're just going to just chit-chat here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Obi, I want to read you this text.
Tell me.
Let's see. I just lost it. It's from Tony Reyna. All right, Nuño, do you think we have enough from the portal and recruiting to make an SEC championship run this year? Here's my quick answer, Obi. I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I know this, that this time last year, with all the portal things and everything going on, nobody really thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody thought that they were going to go 11-1.
I'll tell you another thing. I'll be Johnny Topper here. Okay.
All right.
2 years ago, we would have never thought in Coach Elko's first year that going into the last game of the season, A&M had a chance for the SEC championship game. Obviously, they have. I know they didn't make it, guys. I get it, but like we didn't think they'd be in the conversation at all. So I think it is too early. And I also know this about them. They are really good at identifying issues and fixing issues. They've got some they got to get rid of. They got to fix this year, and that's, the run fits or stopping the run game. That's got to happen. For this team to have the kind of success that I expect them to have, they've got to be able to do that. And finish has got to be part of the mantra again. More finishing. They started the finish. They just got to finish the finish.
Finish the finish. Look, we'll talk about this ad nauseum over the next 8 or 9 months, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, the run defense wasn't bad. I think they were 40th in the country in run defense. It was the tendency,
the big play tendency,
to give up those huge chunk plays in the running game. So if you could cut those down, and I think they had like 21. Gave up like 21 runs of 20 yards or more, and the most in the SEC, and the most runs of 30 yards in the SEC, most over 40.
Yep.
So if you can cut those down significantly, then you could be a lot better.
If you would have cut down the very last big run, makes a huge difference.
Probably win the game.
Yeah.
Then, as we've talked about, Marcel's got to be better in the red zone. He's got to be better overall. I thought he had a good year. It was just didn't have the finish the way you wanted to.
The Marcel topic is interesting because people will say, you guys thought he was a Heisman contender. He was a Heisman contender until he wasn't. That's how it works.
And it wasn't just us saying it. You could look on those betting things and over this. But we all also said, look, if he's going to win the Heisman, he's going to have to play well against Texas and in the SEC championship game together. Well, they didn't get in the SEC championship game. He didn't play well against Texas, so he was out of the running. But up until then, he was definitely in the running. So let's see for all the things that, all the criticism he gets, we forget this thing. It was also his first year as a full-time starter, and he threw for 3,000 yards.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think he should run more. I think the offense should be geared to let him run more. I think you shouldn't just keep him in the pocket as much as they did, but we'll see how that works out. I think that's a big issue. I think, obviously not having KC anymore. How are you going to replace him? How are you going to rebuild the offensive line? It didn't work for LSU.
Right.
Can you avoid just falling apart because of your offensive line like LSU did? So there's going to be a lot of questions to be answered.
What I like about our offensive line, though, it seems to me, and I could be wrong here, a hybrid of what Texas did and what LSU did.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Well, what I mean by that is like the way they rebuilt. Texas went with youth, and LSU went to the portal.
Mm-hmm.
I think A&M's got the youth that they're developing, but they also went to the portal.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying we won't know how it's working.
Yeah.
If it works, I'll always say this: you have to have they ask, can this be an SEC championship caliber team? Well, I always say you can't have a championship caliber team without a good offensive line.
Yeah.
So is this going to be a good offensive line? Well, are you going to be better without Chase Basantes and Armaje Reed-Adams and Trey Zoon? Are you going to be better?
Very hard to be better than those three.
Okay, but can you replace those guys adequately where if you're not better, at least you don't, I always say it's the difference between stepping off the curb or falling off a mountain.
Right.
LSU fell off a mountain. Looks like Texas toward the end of the year only stepped off the curb. So can you lessen the decline?
Right.
Minimize it.
Hey, when's the last time you went hiking?
Hiking, like up in the mountains or something?
I don't know. I'm about to do a Milliken Reserve spot. I'm just trying to incorporate you.
Okay. I don't know.
Have you ever been rucking?
Rucking?
Yeah.
What's rucking?
When you wear the weighted vest and you go places?
No, I've never done that.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay. Hiking. I've hiked.
You're not a big hiker, though.
No, I mean, I'm
going to give you some options.
If I lived at Milliken Reserve, I'd probably hike a lot.
Well, would you bike?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would you go canoeing?
Oh, yeah, I like that. That's fun.
You've done that?
Yeah.
Okay. Kayaking?
I have kayaked.
Okay. Have you ever been on equestrian trails or on a horse?
I've been on a horse, but I just thought, I guess being on the horse, it was equestrian trails.
Yeah? Have you ever done evening yoga?
No.
I can't see you doing the pigeon pose.
Well, I mean, I've done yoga.
You have?
Yeah, I mean, I can just sit up here and do a downward dog or something, you know.
You can?
Oh, yeah. Or, anybody can do a downward dog.
But would you?
I mean, probably not right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I can.
Okay, just curious.
The warrior pose.
Ever been to a summer camp?
Yeah.
Ever been to a music festival?
Oh, many times.
You can do all that at Milliken Reserve.
And I can do it all at one place.
In one place. Check out the website, millikenreserve.com. Maybe you'll find OB at evening yoga, millikenreserve.com.
Nice.
And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse of CC Creations. He's Olin. I'm David. I want to get into some Aggie basketball here. Oh, you had a thought. I can see it.
No.
I want to get into some Aggie basketball. But just for a moment, wanted to bring up the Marcus Freeman situation. Did you see the news about that?
Yeah, it's supposedly he's being accused of punching somebody or assault. He's denying it, and Notre Dame's standing behind him.
Yeah, apparently there's going to be video evidence but apparently, I read a couple different articles about this. One was after his son Vinny lost in a wrestling match. The head coach of the school, where New Prairie High School, I guess it is, one of the assistant coaches was kind of berating Vinny, and I guess they kind of got into a back and forth, Marcus and the coach, and Marcus's wife and the coach. And by the way, if he did, I'd understand. Don't be yelling at my son. There's a football way, and there's like a class. You know what I'm saying? There depends what we're talking about in yelling. I'm not saying coaches shouldn't yell. I'm not saying that.
If my coach couldn't yell at me, he never would have talked to me. It seems like
berating and yelling, I think, are two different things.
Well, I would think a coach. A coach would, I would think, be understanding about a coach yelling, but he would also be able to probably have a good idea when's enough's enough.
Yeah, and if you're following the kid around after he just lost, I don't know. I'd have to see the video. Like, I don't want to. I'm just saying, if somebody is act a certain way, I get it, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like that dad up in Canton, Texas, about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, came in and shot the coach. You don't want to be that guy.
No, I'm not saying that. No. I'm just saying, like, have your kids back. I get it.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what led to it, why he was yelling at him, all those things. So
that'll come out. I'm just saying, if you cross a line with a kid, I understand a dad having his kids back every time. If a line was crossed.
Yeah, it just depends on what the line is. But Marcus Freeman strikes me as, and if he does, I'll charge assault charges. But no, Marcus Freeman strikes me as a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, measured.
So that was
cool, calm, and somebody that if he wanted to mess with you, could absolutely mess with you. He looks pretty jacked.
Yeah, or even better, he could probably get somebody in town to go handle it for him to where he would be, mafia style, so he wouldn't be, the guy and the villain.
I'll be monitoring the situation because, again, when it comes to kids, my guard gets up. Like, what?
Yeah, I understand that. But if your kid, and I'm not saying this was the case, but if your kid is outside the, if he's if he's deserving of being yelled at,
it's different.
And I guess I was, my mom and dad never got upset, so I guess I deserved it.
All right, let's talk about the turning point in the basketball game. I have two different parts, and they're connected, OB.
Okay.
All right, to me,
there's so many.
They were down 64-60. Okay.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I believe, if I have it correct, Oklahoma only scores 12 more points.
Yeah.
And Nigel Pack goes cold.
Right. Well, in fact, at that, I was thinking about there was at 13:59, and Nigel Pack hits a three from the corner that makes it 64-60. And that was, I mean, they're, not even halfway through the second half, and they have 11 three-pointers.
Right.
They don't get another one.
They go 0 for 4 from 3 after that, and 0 for 7 shooting.
I think they went 0 for 10 from the rest of the game.
Okay.
So the defense just started wearing down Oklahoma. And I think that's certainly one of the ones you could point to.
And then there was a run in there where Zach Clemens gets the three. And I think that it's like a 16-4 run where they were just running the floor, hitting shots. Dominguez had that big three with just about 3 minutes left in the game. That's so from the defensive adjustments that they made from the 64-60, where Nigel Pack doesn't score very much, to after you saw some defense and you saw some threes being hit.
Yeah, they now Bucky said that really as much as anything is they were guys saying, all right, I'm taking this personal. He said, Marcus Hill said, I want to guard Nigel Pack. And then there's also just the way they play that if you're not used to it, you get tired.
Yep.
And that was part of it. But you know what? It's still let's see, what was it? It was a 3-point game with a minute to go. OU had just scored. Muhammad, I don't know how he says his last name, Wague, W-A-G-U-E. He scored. He puts back, gets a rebound, and puts it back, and it's 79-76. And again, they had been hitting threes.
Yep.
So it's a one-possession game. And then with about 38 seconds, Rashawn Agee gets the ball in the, I don't want to call it even the low post, but he backs Wagyu or Wigwa, however he says his name.
Wag the dog.
He backs him down and then spins around him and gets and the kid had 4 fouls, so he had to be a little bit careful. Rashawn said when he saw he had him one-on-one, he said, nobody stopped me in that situation.
Right.
And nobody did. And so he gets that bucket and gives them a 5-point lead. And I think that's when they kind of nailed it down.
Well, 16 and 12, I'll take that from Rashawn Agee every time.
I think, I may be wrong on this, but I think that's his 4th double-double in the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a find that young man has turned out to be.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal.
And Pop Isaacs hit double figures again. I think it was his 5th straight game in double figures. And some big shots from sometimes I have to from Rylan Griffin. Big shots from Rylan Griffin.
Right.
And Dominguez, hit a huge 3 late in the game with about 2.5 minutes to go. Huge 3 from the corner. So it was a heck of a performance. I thought they were going to run them out of the gym in the first half. They're up by 10, and then they had maybe the worst 4 minutes of basketball I've ever seen. But they came back strong.
That's a couple games in a row now where they're comfortably leading, and then they kind of take their foot off the accelerator towards the end of the half.
Yeah, I think they had about 5 turnovers and went like over 7 or something like that. I may not be perfect on that. But once again, it didn't kill them. They just reset and came back strong and got another big win.
Hey, Nick, pull up the schedule for me real quick.
You got Tennessee and then Texas and then I think Mississippi State.
So they're 3-0.
Yeah.
Can they get 7 more wins with what's left? And I'm just using 10 as a mythical number of what it might take to get in the tournament. Can they? I mean, yeah, the answer is yes, but like, where are the most likely 7?
Well, I'd say Texas is a
potential.
A potential, maybe 2. Even though going over there is going to be tough. I think they potentially beat Mississippi State and South Carolina. I don't want to say they can't beat anybody, but some are going to be difficult. I think Missouri still you're finding out about. I think they can beat Ole Miss, Oklahoma again. And then, you know what? Kentucky looks very vulnerable. You have to go over to LSU.
Yep.
So to say, could there be 7 wins? Yeah, I could be. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
And maybe an upset. Why not?
Well, some people would say they already had it at all.
Yeah, but another.
So if you can pull, my point is, if you can pull that off, where they've only lost like 6 times in the last 6 years there, if you can pull that off, why couldn't you pull off another one?
All right, let's hit a break here. And when we come back, we'll just check in at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. They have no sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is the over 9 CFPs, the CFA, and the CPA all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel really good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign. And they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. You got something on your mind?
No.
You've been doing this thing today. Like, it looks like you're going to say something.
I'm very pensive today.
And then you're like, oh. Well,
I wonder what we're going to talk about next.
We're going to let Cooper Patterson decide that at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Aggies gather at the Angry Elephant.
I gathered there last week.
For Quinn's birthday.
Yeah. Had some of those good wings.
I love wings.
They have good wings there.
Coop, tell us something good.
So, according to On3's transfer portal rankings, they take into account both transfers in and transfers out. Texas A&M is ranked 4th in the country right now. We've talked a ton about transfer portal so far, but I don't think we've hit this. As we keep working the portal to close the cycle, what position groups are y'all seeing? Do y'all want to be seeing them keep going after at this point?
Oh, receiver and
you want more receivers?
If there's a good one out there, and I think there's a good one out there, yeah, that. And then, I mean, you can't ever go wrong on linemen.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been keeping up with. I don't know if the Pete kid from North Carolina State is committed anywhere. But if you're able to get him, I'd want him.
Richard, is that what you're talking
Where's he going?
Richard's going to look it up.
Richard says he has, but he doesn't know where.
He's committed. I can't remember where either.
But somebody to that. I have to admit, I don't know. South Carolina, interesting. I don't know.
So I'm just looking at the portal watch list.
Yeah, I don't know all the guys that are out there still.
That have not been crossed out yet. Draylon Miller, who looks like he's probably headed to Baylor. That's been kind of in the cards for a while. Malcolm Simmons is still out there.
That's one I'd like to see him.
Enel Etta, I thought he was going to go back to Michigan. Is that official? Okay, he's not crossed out. CJ Mims. Let's see. TJ Smith, Houston Christian is the name that I've seen Bronny talk about. And the rest have already been crossed out. So there's like 3 guys still on, and there could be others that I don't know about that haven't set up their visits.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a guy out there that Elko thinks can help the team, then take him.
Yeah. So, but I've had people ask me how I feel. I think I feel good. I feel good that they addressed areas that they needed to address, and the guy who's picking the groceries, I have faith in, and that's why I feel good.
Yeah, I have the most faith. I'm most optimistic because it's Elko. I mean, I can look at, hey, you got 2 LSU offensive linemen, and then go, yeah, but the offensive line at LSU wasn't very good. Now, that doesn't mean it was their fault.
Right.
But, you can see why you'd be a little bit hesitant and say, okay, I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach.
Obie, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
When we come back, I think Marty Smith of ESPN, he's been doing hits all around the world. We'll see if we get him on next on TexAgs Live. Kentucky transfer Hadley Gilmore flips commitment from Louisville to Baylor. If Baylor trying to add some wide receiver help, it looks like. The only reason I'm reading that to you is because it popped up on my feed. It's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and we're just going to tap dance a little bit, try to figure out what's going to happen, if we're going to have Marty Smith or not on the program. All good. If not, I know he had a lot of stuff going on. I want to talk Cignetti for a second, and I want kind of a group think tank if we can, because I've gotten some different feedback from people. There was I should send you Nick, if I were able to send you a post on Twitter, is that something you can turn around quickly and play, or no?
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah,
okay.
Try my best.
I'm going to send you something that came through that really speaks to me, okay? And so I'm going to send it your way. But while we get that ready, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center and let Cooper Patterson, so I can get this set up, read a text or two.
Let me find one. Oh, I got a good one.
Okay.
It's about Aggie basketball, one that really tickles my brain. It's
tickles your brain.
Ryan from
what
Brenham.
Are you, 50?
Okay. He says, howdy, guys. He says, Bucky ball seems to restrict mid-range shots and pushes for threes and close to the basket shots, layups in the paint. I think we're forcing the ball close to the rim or open threes, which is making us better at points in the paint. So less mid-range shots means more paint shots and threes. Do you think this is why we're faring so well in the paint, even though we lack size?
That could be part of the reason. I also just think, like, we got a guy that's just getting double-doubles all day, and most of his points are coming in the paint. Like, he's got that ability to back you down, make you think he's going to go left, roll to the right, get the easy bucket in the other way. He's really good with his back to the basket, old school style. I think that's part of the reason, and some putbacks as well. And I think they're really good at attacking the lane. Dumping it off, attacking the lane, passing it out to the open three with the extra pass. I think that's part of the reason that they've been so effective from the paint.
You know what that text reminded me of, and why it so perfectly tickled my brain, was the Harden Rockets small ball era, where their tallest player they had was like PJ Tucker at like 6'6" or something. Yeah. Obviously, completely different teams. We don't have a James Harden. We have bigger guys than PJ Tucker, but just the idea that
you love James Harden, right?
I love James Harden.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Who was he? Is it Nygren? I forget it. Somebody else loves James Harden. Not a good call on that one, buddy.
It was my childhood. But anyways, we obviously very different team. But just
I see what you're
saying,
though.
We are, it's like the analytical Mike D'Antoni style of just get threes and close shots up instead of
7 seconds or less.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And obviously Bucky ball is completely different.
I don't know about completely different, but it's a different, but it's the same kind of up-tempo. Here's the biggest difference. I feel like Mike D'Antoni's teams did not play a lot of defense. Now, towards who was his defensive coordinator he brought in one year that really helped them? I can't remember the name.
I can't remember the name either.
It was a really good coach that they brought in that helped that defense significantly. But what Bucky will do is he's going to press you for days, right? They're going to make it so, and they're going to change the way they do it. It might be quarter press. It might be a zone that they switch into quickly. I believe Bucky ball causes chaos on both ends because of the ability to be the most in shape. This is how they practice. This is how they play. I think that all plays a role in it. I did want to talk a little bit about Kirk Cignetti and the different styles we have of coaches in this national championship game. I remember a couple weeks back, my buddy Juan was like, this is early in the playoffs, call it 3 weeks ago, a month ago, was like, hey, I think Cignetti is like Saban. And I was like, slow down, man. Like, I kind of get annoyed. And by the way, he's right on like Saban because of the way he thinks. But I automatically jump to like, let's not always like anoint the next guy, right? Let's not automatically say that, who was it recently? Patrick Mahomes, who is absolutely the best, even this year. He's still the best quarterback in football. He is the closest thing to Tom Brady. But after Super Bowl I, they're like, he's going to catch Brady. He's got 4 Super Bowls. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mahomes?
I think 3.
3? Okay. He's got 3 Super Bowls. He's got a ways to go to catch Tom. Okay? But I understood it. But that early on, like, you don't jump to the next conclusion. LeBron forever, the next MJ. He's close. I get it. But you've got to win 1 or 2 or 3 before you become, like, to me, Kirby is the closest thing to Nick Saban. But when it comes to thinking, the way a team is built, hard-nosed mentality, when you listen to Cignetti make his press conferences and his sound bites, to me, that is the closest thing to a Nick Saban because of that, because of the ability to think about the process. He's very process-oriented. How many times have we seen on X or one of these social media platforms like Nick Saban talking about the way he sees the game and the way he builds a program? That is very Cignetti-like. And I don't, Nick, do we have that soundbite ready? Oh, we don't.
I never got it.
I sent it to you on the G chat. Sorry, I thought I did. Did it not go through? Yeah, I did. I sent it to you. Maybe it's your old G chat that I sent it to. Anyway, what I was going to say is the way he goes about his business, to me, is what makes him very Nick Saban-like. And then you can't argue with the success that Indiana's had. Like the success that Indiana's had. Is this his second year in Indiana?
Second year.
Second year. Like what he is doing is fairy tale type stuff. Just, I want us to think about A&M. I think what Coach Elko is doing right now I do think it's incredible. But imagine it on steroids. That's what they're doing there, right? They go to the Big Ten championship game in year one, and they went in year one, right? And they lost. No, they didn't make it because they had lost to Ohio State.
They almost made it,
right? But they had one loss heading into the playoffs, right?
And they were 3-9 the season before,
right? And think about that turnaround to what they did. And I know we poked holes in their schedule and this and that. That's why you should be a little bit more optimistic about A&M in year 3 using the Cignetti model. That being said, you build a program, you get to the playoff, year 2, you mop the floor against everyone. Pull up their schedule. I want to know what their closest game was this year. Like, I don't even know what their closest game was.
Probably Penn State, where they won in that late touchdown.
Okay. So Penn State, who obviously had a terrible year and they had a lot of turmoil, but they still had a lot of talent. They were top 3 team heading into the season from a talent perspective and from the rankings perspective. Their ability to they're 15-0. Nobody's close to them. Ohio State, semi-close.
Yeah, both those games they won by 3. Both Penn State and Ohio State, they won by 3 points.
Okay. Their ability, and against teams that were perceived to be better than them. I believe when they played Penn State, how early in the season was that? Was it already past?
It was in November.
Oh, okay, so they're already terrible. They're already terrible,
but talented team.
But the Ohio State one. Here's a soundbite from Cignetti on how he builds the team.
It's a process, and it's a way you go about doing things. It's a standard. It's an expectation. A high standard, a high expectation. It's accountability, right? It's discipline, commitment, toughness, work ethic, pride. It's wanting to be great versus wanting to be normal. And, normal kind of equals average. And average is okay. There's no problem with average, except in my business. My business, average is the enemy. And to be great, you got to have special focus, special commitment, special preparation, and discipline, and the ability to say no to some things. All right? So you stack great days on top of each other. You play the game the way we want to play the game, one play at a time, 6 seconds a play. Every play's got a life and a history of its own. Play every play like it's nothing. Don't be affected by success or failure. Be able to compartmentalize and go to the next play. Playing it the same way. Because what happens then? You get to the end of the game, game's on the line. You're used to practicing that way, playing that way, right? You're just doing your thing. That guy's looking at the scoreboard and he's like, tightening up a little bit. You win those games.
I love that because that's how his teams play. He called his shot when he got his first introductory press conference. Google me, I win. He's done everything he said he's going to do. And he's very process-oriented. And when your team hears that message all the time, that is in your DNA. That's why they play at a certain level. Now, Miami, on the flip side, I think the difference, that's why I wanted to bring up this example, is the difference in building a program. Now, Cignetti benefited a lot from bringing in a lot of older players and, smash mouth style of football. Cristobal left Oregon for Miami and had a lot of expectations because he had played there, because of his time with the U and that community, what it means to him. And things have not always been rosy, as we all know. He did not build the team the way they expected. They expected a much quicker rise to fame. And some of his decisions in games that have cost them moments or almost cost them games and certainly cost them games kind of put a lot of pause. But what happened this year was they were definitely a very good team, but there was a little lull in the middle of the season. What was it, the Louisville game and the SMU game, where they didn't play up to the standard. What you've seen since that point is a team that has gotten back to what they do. And if they win on Monday or if they lose a week from today, I think this season, no matter what, if you are a Miami fan or just a fan of college football, they stuck to their guns. They're going to be a smash-mouth football team that plays football one way. They're going to own the trenches, they're going to run the ball, and they have a playmaker that can change the game at any moment. Does that not sound very similar to what Coach Elko is doing here? Own the trenches, run the ball, have a playmaker, a X factor or two that can break the game wide open. The quarterback situation for those teams are, they both throw some darts, right? Carson Beck has navigated through some he's, as OB will tell you, he's had the luxury of having amazing talent around him wherever he's been. But he's also been a quarterback to me that has not been appreciated for the most part. Even when he first got to Miami, a lot of expectations in the offseason for the way he went about his business, got a little bit hurt, but not certainly appreciated. Even in that A&M game, I didn't want to give him the props that he deserved. He threw for 110 yards, whatever it was, right? Didn't make any mistakes, really, blah, blah, blah. But he just went about his business. And then when he had to make the big plays, and he did make the biggest play in the Ole Miss game, absolutely, he got things done. So Fernando Mendoza, who doesn't come in with a lot of fanfare, transfers from Cal and just takes college football by storm. Both of those situations, I think, as an Aggie fan, we can look at it and be like, all right, whatever you think about what next season is going to look like because of the schedule, because of the transfer portal, because it's year 3, because it's Marcel's third year to basically start. I know this was his past year, was his first year to start a full season, but he started the end of 24. Whatever you think about it, both of these are examples of how things can play out. Miami, to me, is living the A&M storyline that I thought was certainly possible because of where they were in the bracket, because I thought if A&M was able to beat. Now, the way A&M played at the end of the year, I did not feel very comfortable had they won that game against Miami, how they were going to do against Ohio State. I said beforehand, I thought if they got there, they would beat Ohio State because I thought that the offense was going to figure out a way to get it done against Miami, and they did not. I thought they were going to score 27 to 31 points, I think I called, in that range. But both are examples, and you look at Miami's path, I thought A&M was a better team than Ole Miss all season long. I'm not the only one who listens to the show that thought that, right? Ole Miss, give them props because they did play up to the way they played Miami, the way they played Georgia. They deserve the props that they get. But Miami's an example of what A&M could have been. Could have is the operative word. So this year, you go back to the portal, you rebuild your offensive line, you add some pieces to the wide receiver room, you strengthen your secondary, you add some new pieces to your defensive line, and there are a lot of question marks. There's not a Nick Scorton coming in like everybody knows this guy can give you double-digit sacks. Is there a KC Concepcion this year on this year's team? I don't think we all knew what KC was going to be coming into the year. We all knew he had a lot of potential, but I don't think we knew he was going to be what he became, and we did not know what Mario Craver was going to become, right? We knew he had potential. There are guys on this roster right now that we are not talking about that are going to live that story next year. So I use the Indiana-Miami example because I think there are some tangible things. First off, Indiana's a team that came out of nowhere. They are, what are they favored by, 7.5? Something like that? I think they're favored by 7.5, if not 6.5. I think they are absolutely favored big time. Whatever it may be. And Cooper will tell me here in a second.
7.5.
7.5, okay. whatever it is, 7.5 as Nick says. The reason they have done that is because the way they go about their business. The way they go about their business. And I think across the street, the way we go about our difference is the biggest difference. Is the biggest reason for optimism, if you will. Many of you are like me, where you find reasons for optimism and reasons to pick holes. However you want to look at what next season looks like, know that the guy picking the groceries is doing it the right way. Know that they went and addressed some issues, and there's still some others out there. Let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Got some commentary from our premium chat on TexAgs.com or on the YouTube page or the text line, the Catalyst Premium Performance text line.
Yeah, we've got a question from CV Callahan 37. He's got a lot of questions about Wiggins' offense specifically, and I think that's something we can talk about is what does Holman Wiggins' offense look like? Do we really have any idea what his offensive philosophy is, what his system is going to look like? I'd assume because they hired internally, it's going to look similar to Klein's. Do we have really any idea what that'll be, or is that something we're going to have to wait and see?
I don't know. Knowing Coach Oko the way I do, he's involved in every integral piece of what they do on every level of this team, right? I can't imagine it being that different. I think what will be different is maybe the play calling, right? But I think philosophy-wise, it's going to be a very ball control-oriented team with the ability to hit explosive plays. They were able to hit some explosive. They missed on a lot of explosive plays, but they're able to hit on a lot of explosive plays. I think what could change is now having Isaiah Horton in the mix, a 6'4" guy that you can kind of go to differently. There were a couple of games. I know Colin Klein loved the screen game, right? The bubble screen. I think that'll be a big part of what they still do, and having Isaiah Horton there will give them some flexibility with that as well.
And then I got another chat from James Ellis. I think this was really interesting. Kind of goes back to the Indiana topic. He says, I think more teams are going to try to get the most experienced teams they possibly can. I think this really is hitting on how Indiana has a lot of older players who a lot of people on Twitter or other social medias are criticizing, like, man, you've got a bunch of guys that should be in the NFL or they should be getting regular jobs. They'll make me jokes, say, that he needs to hop on Indeed or hop on LinkedIn already. But it's kind of similar to, I think my question, I want to take it to where college basketball right now, you see a lot of coaches criticizing how they don't really recruit high school anymore. They're just like, let me get as many experienced transfer portal guys that I can every single season, no matter if they're a brand new team or if we have like any of the similar guys, but just getting the most experienced guys you can. Do we see college football going that way? Because we see a lot of freshmen starting to make really big impacts with Jeremiah Smith last year, Ryan Williams last year, Malachi Toney this year. Or do we see it really heading in the direction of just get older guys who really know the system, who know the speed of the game?
How can you know the system if you haven't been there, though? And I know Lane Kiffin's been very successful playing the portal game as his main methodology. I think the way Coach Elko is going about it is the right way. You build through recruiting, right, the high school ranks. You develop those guys, and you show them the path to what their success is going to look like, right? You can't say, hey, you're going to day one starter, not play them and not expect them to go test. You've got to say, hey, this is your plan to get to the field. I see you playing a lot year one. I see you playing a little bit year one, but I want you to learn from this guy. I've had people in this studio on the huddle that we do, our show that we do with NIL, and that I was like, do you think you would have been ready day one? Like what they thought when they moved in to 6 months later, 8 months later, a lot of the guys like, no, I needed to learn, man. The game moved a lot faster than I was expecting. The physicality is not what I was expecting. So I think that slow transition, and for each person, it's a little bit different. Marco Jones was doing things right away, right? Marco Jones was able to start contributing right away. Malachi Toney's role, by the way, kind of developed as the season went on. Like towards the end of the year, he was getting 10 to 12 touches a game. Early on, he was getting closer to 5 to 7, right? So as you show that you can handle the load, things do change. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll continue on with this topic and a little bit more. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Right now, we're talking about the Association of Former Students. If your organization or your business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to check out the Association of Former Students. They bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking Aggie Ring Day, all Aggie hullabaloo and the gathering welcoming tens of thousands of guests. And there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities available to get your brand in front of the attendees. They offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And this includes title sponsorship naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, and social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for the last 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I know we got a couple text messages coming in, one from our dear friend Hunter Shurtleff. Let's go to it. What do you got for us?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. He says heavy transfer portal was a disaster for LSU last year. I think we should really spend some time and break this down because I think at surface level it's very clear LSU had a ton of transfers in and they did not have the most successful season. But when you really look at which guys played really well for them last year, which was mostly on their defensive side, those guys were mostly transfers. Then on our offense, where they had a lot of guys that they had brought up and recruited, they really, really struggled, and that was a ton of guys who they recruited internally. So,
I'm looking at On3's transfer portal recruitings from, let me make sure this is 2025. And we're going to kind of go, I'm going to throw you some teams. You tell me if they made the playoffs or not, okay? Number 1, Texas Tech.
Playoffs.
Number 2, LSU.
Nope.
Disaster. Number 3, Ole Miss.
Playoffs.
So far, some pretty good playoff teams. We're going to go a little bit deeper now. Number 5, Miami.
Playoffs.
Number 6, Missouri. Not playoffs.
Not
good
playoffs.
team, though. I thought they were a really good team. This is where it gets interesting on the portal when you're completely built from the portal. These teams are about to be a disaster, okay? Auburn, number 7.
Terrible.
8, North Carolina.
Also, like one of the worst teams in college football this season.
9, Rutgers.
Again, what did they do?
10. Now, this is where I think, look, I know A&M's number 4 currently on the portal rankings. I get that. But I just don't think you want to have the volume. You want to have what you need. And that's why it's kind of hard to evaluate a portal class, because the volume, it could be exactly what you need. Like, look, Bucky McMillan's team is all portal. They had to, right? Let's see. Number 10, did I tell you number 10 yet? I did not, right?
No.
Ohio State.
They were an incredible team this year until they got beat bad by Miami.
Indiana, 13. I'm just jumping around a little bit. Are they good?
They're solid.
Okay. 14, Michigan.
Not as great as they wanted to be.
No, but a step up. So where do you think A&M was on the list? I'm not going to even let you guess. I'm just going to tell you. Number 16 on the list. Okay? Number 17 right after them was Texas. 18, SMU. 19, Baylor. So a bunch of Texas schools in a row. Kansas State was 20. That was a year ago. Okay? Obviously, things have changed. I'm trying to see if I can get 2026 to load up, and I do have it. So right now, looks kind of similar up top. The number 1 portal team is? Texas Tech. Number 2, Louisville. I would have never guessed that.
Me neither.
They've got 22 in, 21 out. Texas A&M, according to this right now, number 3 on the list. 16 in, 12 out. Va-Tech at 4. And Indiana, again, in your top 5. Well, they weren't top 5, but they were top 10 last year. They're number 5. Ole Miss at 6. Florida at 7. Houston at 8, believe it or not.
Really?
West Virginia at 9. Oklahoma State at 10. Some of these are because of coaching changes.
Yep.
And that's what happens. So the original question, not this segment, but last segment, I think you have to, I like to use the word the hybrid approach. You have to have just enough to make a difference where you need to make a difference. You can't just make you can't just make your difference by bringing in volume, just bringing in everybody. I don't know what LSU's philosophy was last year. I think that might have been more of a culture thing, not necessarily just a portal thing. And I also think, to be honest with you, I understand why they moved on from Brian Kelly. It was a knee-jerk reaction. It was trending in that direction anyway. Mm-hmm. But just like Penn State, knee-jerk reaction, because we are in a world where if you don't make the playoffs, you've had a horrible season. Unless you finish the way the team 90 miles down the road finished, where like could have made the playoffs, finished with a couple of big wins, won their bowl game, that feels different. Notre Dame, they go into their offseason upset that they weren't the team that they feel like they could be Miami right now, back-to-back national championships, going to the championship game. And they were left out. And they just like, you know what? We're not playing that bowl game. We don't have enough players. We're not going to do it. We're mad about it. So that's one way to go into it. Or you can go into it like Texas A&M, like upset you didn't finish the way you wanted to, address your needs, and hopefully Draw that plan up with your new resources because, look, they have built their team in both ways. They have built it significantly on the portal, sure. Was it 15, I think, that we counted, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously with all the freshmen coming in. And then the experience that they already have. The fact that Marcel is going to be starting another year, don't let that, that is huge, having that kind of experience. And if he makes the leaps that we saw from his first year starting to his second year starting, if we see even half of that this year, we are talking about a guy that could be invited to New York. A lot has to happen. He's got to get more comfortable in the pocket. I think he's got to run a little bit more, right? He's got to get his timing. But those are all things that I think he will work on here during the offseason. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. I think we're going to get Billy on the phone for a few minutes on his way to studio. We'll chit-chat with Billy. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're a business owner, and you're ready to take your operation to the next level, check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They've got a great selection of vehicles, great people that work there, and they want to make sure that they take care of you. So when you have a business and you're looking to add to your fleet of vehicles, you reach out to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you see what they have, and you'll get the vehicles at the right price at the right time. And that's what they do for just normal buyers too. Mom and pops, you're looking to buy a car for your kid, let Caldwell Country Chevrolet help you find that right vehicle because they have an amazing selection of vehicles, and it's about a 15-minute drive. The edge of Bryant to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. And we're back. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. As we talk about portal, we may have Billy on, we may not. I want to talk about some of these quarterbacks in the portal going other places and just how that could change the game. Because, all right, I'm trying to remember for a second. The four top quarterbacks, not top four, but the four teams that made the Final Four all made the Final Four, are all transfer quarterbacks. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy Liucci joining us here on his way to studio. Billy, what's up, man? Hi, Billy.
Dave.
How are you,
Hello,
sir?
David. I'm good. How are you, sir?
Well, thank you. Hey, do you want to? Why don't we start off with the whole Cam Coleman thing and some of the reaction to it? Cam Coleman ends up going to Texas A&M, gets a really nice, better than nice, an excellent receiver in Isaiah Horton. For both of those guys were an option. They ended up getting one of the two. Just kind of take it from there, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you don't want to gloss over the Cam Coleman sweepstakes simply because it was probably the biggest non-portal recruitment out there. And A&M was a player in that right up until the end. I'd say up until about several days before his announced choice. But the Aggies were one of, really the three biggest players throughout. And then Alabama came in late, and it was a guy that the A&M staff clearly viewed as attainable. They went all in. I think all three of the teams went all in. Everybody's going to debate as to who offered the most and who didn't. I have it on, I would consider pretty good authority that A&M was not at the top there, but they were really close and competitive. I think all three teams were. I don't think it was about a dollar amount, barring, I guess I'm never going to act like I know exactly what Texas and Tech did. It could have been, but I don't think it was. I think this was he made the choice of the school and the situation for him, and that's that. Like, the point being, A&M made the commitment to stay in that race to the end. They were right there at the final table, and he picked Texas. And, there's probably a million, thank you, there's probably a million reasons why, but picked the Longhorns, and that's a great get for them, and that is the guy that obviously A&M, Tech, and Alabama dearly wanted. Thing is, they would have gladly taken Zay Horton and Coleman and felt really good about that too. But in recruiting, you have to pivot, and it truly is not. And I said this the other day. It truly is not. Texas and Texas A&M are not the only two schools playing college football. Texas is not the only team on your schedule. So, yes, you do have to deal with Cam Coleman again. He torched you 2 years ago. He did nothing last year. You've got to play him again. He's going to make that offense a lot better. But outside of that, Texas and A&M are not the only two teams. And Cam Coleman is not the only quality receiver in college football. And the key is, what do you find? How do you adjust and adapt? And A&M did that, I think, in a really, really nice way to go out and get Horton from Alabama, who Alabama did not want to lose, and who, had he visited several places and not just A&M, would have been, like, as soon as Coleman picked Texas, he might have been standing out as the most coveted non-quarterback in the portal. This was a huge get for the Aggies, and it fits in so scratch Cam Coleman because you did not get him. Look at what you have. That is portal recruiting. Look at what you have in the room now. So you added Horton to a group that you return Mario Craver, Ashton Bethel-Roman, so speed and more speed, Terry Bussey going into year 3, TK Norman going into year 2. And then where it gets really interesting is you had 3 receivers really light up that All-American Bowl this week, and I got amazing reviews on all 3. I don't think we talk enough about Madden Williams. or the speed of Warren. We know we know A&M's got at least borderline 5-star / 5-star in Gregory. And then you've got Jerome Miles, who really in a few days of practice, I wish people would see a couple of the video clips that I've got my hands on, just, random people sent, where some of the catches he made in the first couple of days of practice. And he tore the ACL, early in August, so he'll be back. So out of that group, it's really fascinating to think about which of those 4, and Mike Brown, which of those 5 young receivers is going to be on the fast track. Because out of 5 players with that much talent, somebody's going to be on the fast track. So you look at the group and say, that group right there should be one of the top receiving corps in the SEC without Cam Coleman, with Zay Horton. I don't know that you say that without Horton. So that was a huge get for A&M yesterday, so I wouldn't want it to get lost in the shuffle of the disappointment of losing Coleman to a rival, because there's no way to dance around the fact that is disappointing.
Billy, overall, how do you feel? We're going to do a luchador later, and we're going to kind of break down the entire portal, but just how do you feel this one? How do you feel that this one feels right now? Like right now, 15 guys have committed. I know there's still a couple of spots. How would you assess how they've done in the portal? Good. I think really solid. Really solid. I'd like to see them add Mims on the inside from North Carolina. Now I'd feel really good about D tackle if you added 3 Power 4 veteran bodies. I would feel a lot better about that add, just to those 3 plus what you've got on campus, because I think they were pretty light at that all-important spot on the field. So that would make me feel really damn good. And then it's just, look, you gotta trust their evaluation and what it means, because if you've got, like, they picked a safety, right, Byard out of Colorado. I was getting all kinds of rave reviews on a safety out of Boise State from the scouting community. He went to LSU. A&M picked Byard before he went to LSU. They could have gone and pursued him. I know that Texas fans are bending over backwards, jumping through hoops for the 2 running backs they signed, Rayleigh Brown and Smothers. A&M, I think, could have used a one more back in terms of the veteran, to have another veteran running back. Last year they had, Last year they had 4 of them. They had Owens, they had E.J. Smith, they had Daniels, and they had Le'Veon. They had 4. This year, by my definition of a veteran running back, they have 1. I don't like that. But when you look at the stable, they've got a guy in Jamarian Morrow that if they didn't recruit Smothers or Rayleigh Brown. The reason why, both those guys are similar style of back to Jamarian Morrow, similar size, similar style. If you signed one of them, you probably would have lost either Owens or Morrow, so you'd be in the same situation numbers-wise. And if you recruited Morrow a year ago and you loved what he showed you in practice and in games and in limited but not too limited action, and then one of those backs is going to cost X amount of dollars, right? Like significantly more than keeping the guys you have, why do you do it? So that is something that I think people have to think about when you're trying to evaluate what a team does and doesn't do in the portal. So you have to trust the evaluation of Elko and the staff, because I think they've earned that trust when you look at what they've done in the portal. Guys like Onyedem, guys like Howell, guys like Ricks and Lee. I think of Scooby Williams, had he stayed healthy, Reed Adams, Ratcliffe, the list goes on and on. They've done a really nice job in the portal. I think they may have one more start this year. You can see Searcy as a full-time starter this season, TBD there. So I think they've done
an excellent job. Coley, so you're talking about guys that are full-time starters, guys that were the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, guys that were all conference, and you're also talking about depth fillers and plug-in guys like Deion Hayes, Coley, guys like that. So they've done, I think, a great job with their evaluations, not only like talent where maybe everybody doesn't see it, but also what they need to fill in terms of their roster and depth and things. So I think you got to just kind of look at it and give that the benefit of the doubt. The guys I'm most excited about, I think my favorite two, I think might be Zay Horton and the two SEC guys. I mean, you go get a cornerback from Tennessee that most people thought was one of the better ones in the league a year ago, and we're not talking about a torn ACL or an Achilles or some kind of broken leg. You were talking about he's recovering from a torn pec, which shouldn't affect his from a year ago. Once the season starts, it's not going to affect his movement, his agility, his cover skills. So that's good. I don't think you're talking about damaged goods there. He's just a guy that missed the season. So I think he's going to be one of the biggest pickups when you look at potentially starting opposite Des Ricks and giving them a pretty dynamic 1-2 punch at corner. And then we talked about what Horton means. And positionally, the offensive line, they went out and got 4 SEC guys. They got 4 guys from the SEC that came off of bad offensive lines. So it's interesting. Alabama, LSU, and South Carolina. I don't think any of those O-lines were good. Bama's obviously was the best of the group, but by their standards, they were down this year too. I think you're looking at those guys and watching their individual tape if you're Cushing and Elko and Wiggins, and you're seeing what those guys are doing as individuals, and think they can, with better coaching, they can be a part of a better unit. And I think that's the hope there when you get 4 SEC O-linemen to go with what you've already got on campus. So remember, there's some dudes on campus. So I think there'll be great competition. I think they shored up the O-line. I think they've got a starting bunch of veterans if they want it. They got 4 portal guys in Naboo. So if they want to go all veterans, that's exactly what they can do. And they've got tackles and guards to do it. So that was a very deliberate plan that you saw from A&M.
Billy, we'll see you here in studio in a little bit.
All right. Be there after your little commercial.
All right, buddy. Billy Liucci there on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. All right, the family-owned agencies dialed in the TexAgs. You got to check out the Rollo Insurance Group. They're doing amazing work helping small agencies keep up with all the slow-motion corporate takeover of the industry that's happening all over the place. Tech markets, education, succession planning are all big challenges. What you need to do is go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, and you can listen to Keith and Jackson's commentary right here in the studio not long ago. You're going to learn all about what they're doing here at Rollo Insurance. They're doing great work to help out Aggies all over the place. And they have a comprehensive consultation for businesses of all sizes with particular expertise in family-owned operations. Their independent agents provide objective guidance on liability, property, workers' comp, and specialized coverage. If you're a dedicated business partner and you want to join the Rollo Insurance team, go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Again, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs or 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150 will hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. And as a reminder, they are not open on Mondays. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Let's find out what is on TexAgs.com today.
On TexAgs today, reminder, if you haven't already, it's a great time to pick up a TexAgs premium subscription. For full access to content on TexAgs.com, you can visit TexAgs.com/subscribe to sign up. Right now, we've got our transfer portal tracker. That's probably the biggest thing we've got going on. I just checked. We're at over 4.3 million views on the transfer portal tracker.
Let's go.
So portal will be open for another week, so we got plenty of things going on there. Stay updated on what A&M's continue to do with the portal. We also have men's basketball, 5 thoughts from Luke Evangelist on Texas A&M's 83-76 victory over Oklahoma on Saturday afternoon. And then later today, what we're going to be having, we expect to film a luchador right after this. And so be on the lookout for that. Also, it's the first day of baseball practice at Bluebell Park. So we'll be hearing from Mike early. Reminder that opening day is set for February 13th, so we got some time before baseball season. We also have plenty of preview content ahead of Bucky McMillan's Tuesday road trip to Knoxville, including an advance from Olin Buchanan and Tom Schuber's scouting report. So if you're looking for that Aggie basketball content, we got plenty of it there.
Good stuff. Appreciate you, Cooper. When we come back on TexAgs Live, I believe Billy Liucci will be arriving in studio sometime in the first segment. We'll get to your text messages. They're on the Catalyst Pure Performance text line, 979-693-1150. You are listening to TexAgs Live. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the show. Billy Liucci should be in studio here in a moment. I know he is in the lobby. So as I was talking to him, then Billy came on, the transfer portal quarterbacks that all made the Final Four. I mean, obviously the championship game has got transfer portal quarterbacks all a part of it. It's I don't like that that's what's happening, but it is what it is. So I started looking at some of these transfer portal quarterbacks this year to see if we can kind of predict anything based on that. And I'm just going to read you some names out there of people that are out there. So some of the bigger names that are in the portal, like Austin Simmons ended up going to Missouri.
Did he?
I didn't
see that.
Yeah. I don't see that working out to being one of the 4 best teams in the country next year. I don't know enough about the Missouri situation. That's a big one. Kenny Minchie did go to Kentucky, the former Notre Dame guy. I don't think that's going to put Kentucky in the mix. I'm just reading some more.
They've been putting in work in the portal, though.
Yeah.
They've been getting some guys.
DJ Lagway did commit to Baylor, right? That's official?
He's committed to Baylor. I saw that he was on an Ole Miss visit, I think, today.
After his commit to Baylor?
Yes. He had planned one for today. I don't know if it happened today or if it is happening today, but he committed to Baylor. Said he was committed to Baylor, but the reports about him going to Ole Miss visit, I think, were true.
Okay, that's interesting. Hassan Longstreet hasn't really played. We remember he was committed to A&M at one point. I know that Josh Pate on his show recently said that he thinks Oregon is a place that he could end up going to.
Oregon just got Dylan Raiola, actually.
Okay.
This morning.
Okay, so Dylan Raiola ends up at Oregon. That's a big pickup for them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't think LSU is going to go the Hassan Longstreet. I think we know what direction they're going to go. Brendan Sorsby, he was the quarterback at Cincinnati. A lot was made of the money that Texas Tech paid to get him. He's going to be their new quarterback. And I think, what was the price tag on him? Like $5 million is what people were reporting.
Something ridiculous.
So I don't think now Texas Tech will probably be in the playoffs next year. They got a lot of talent. They're all in on the portal, and they have an easy schedule, right? So that's another one to keep your eye on. I don't think Byron Brown is going to take Auburn to the. He had a nice year with South Florida and Alex Golesh, right? But I don't think Auburn is one of those teams we'll be seeing. And then Sam Leavitt, still uncommitted, but the feeling is he is going to go to LSU. At least that was the feeling early until LSU tried to pivot and go after the Washington quarterback. And now it looks like that's who Lane Kiffin wants. So there is that. When you think about all of that, and by the way, Arizona State will be coming here to Kyle Field without Sam Leavitt. I'll be interested to see how they replenish. I don't even know what their quarterback situation is.
Cutter Bowley. He's a 6'5" quarterback from Kentucky. I don't know if he played much this year.
I think he played in the game against Texas.
Is that right?
I believe he was the quarterback at the end of that game, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the transfer quarterbacks are the story when it comes to it. This year's portal class, though, the story has been more the Cam Coleman was the bigger story than quarterbacks, I believe. Unless, I think Sam Leavitt could end up being a really, really big story if Lane Kiffin is able to do with him what he's done with so many other quarterbacks. And he's already a very good quarterback, but like having Lane Kiffin get his hands on him, I hope Leavitt doesn't end up at LSU. I hope LSU doesn't have a quarterback. I hope they play with a running back at quarterback. That's my hope, my desire for them. All right, let's check in on some text messages. Can we, Cooper?
Yes, so we got one from Ryan in LaPorte. He says, Wiggins has developed more NFL receivers consistently at Bama and now here. If he wanted Horton, then I have no doubt he'll be a stud in the new Wiggins system.
So I actually went back. I was on Twitter during one of the breaks and saw that touchdown against A&M. That was a beautiful play. I don't know if you saw that highlight, but over the top for a beautiful touchdown against A&M. That was his sophomore year?
Sophomore year, yeah.
Yeah, so the guy is he's going to be a special quarterback, no doubt about that. I feel unfortunately for him, for any top tier wide receiver, he's not going to get the fanfare because of something Billy talked about. I thought that was a very astute observation from Billy. Had Cam Coleman signed and then Horton entered the portal and then he started taking his visits, his name would have been all over the place, right? But it was almost like a a quiet thief in the night kind of situation where we knew he was in the portal, but all the attention was on Cam Coleman. A&M was doing their work to try to get both, obviously, but absolutely try to get Horton. And then Coleman signs in short order. You get him, within an hour and a half, something really like quick. that quick to be able to get him. To me, that was a big part of why there wasn't that much hoopla behind it, because it got lost in what happened. Not too different than what happened with A&M volleyball. I think, thank goodness, A&M volleyball won on that Sunday of the national championship, but there was still that after effects of football. If you remember, though, and some people were asking me why, I led the show on that Monday with volleyball because I felt like they deserved those props. I think Horton deserves a lot of this conversation because of what he's been able to do. And as the texter pointed out not long ago, freaking Holman Wiggins developed studs. He took Mario Craver to another level. Mario Craver had all the skills in the world, right? But in growth and the work that he put, but Holman Wiggins put him on another level. Same thing you can say for Casey Concepcion. Casey Concepcion was great. Came here. He might end up being a first-round pick because of what he did here at Texas A&M and all the props that he got on both wide receiver room and his special teams ability. So to me, you are a wide receiver that wants to come develop. Texas had I would say they had a down year from the wide receivers. I know they Golden had the big touchdown against A&M. I get that. But Coleman's going to do fine there. He's going to do great there, right? I think we all can see the hype train working, but it's legitimate because they do have a lot of talent there. But I like what we have here. I do. And if I remember correctly, Marcel and Horton have a relationship from the 7-on-7 days in the Nashville area. So they already have a little bit of chemistry. I think that is a great connection. Let's get another text in, Cooper.
We have... This is kind of about Wiggins' offensive philosophy. I asked about it earlier, and we said we really didn't know much. Cody, 830 number, you know where that's at? No clue. He said, Elko said in one of his previous pressers that he has an offensive vision, and Klein was on the same page. So this is not or was not Klein's offense exclusively. So Elko had some say in it.
Texas Hill Country, according to the internet. Fredericksburg, Kerrville, New Braunfels, Del Rio, Uvalde, and Eagle Pass. Anyway, continue on, please.
Gotcha. Said this is Elko's, and probably why he's promoting him within is to maintain that vision right now and build on it, so it probably won't be much different than before, but with some tweaks.
So as Billy Liucci joins us, I'll kind of set up where that question originated from earlier in the show. Someone texted in about what we think a Holman Wiggins offense will look like, how different it'll be. My response to that, Billy, was I don't think it'll be a whole lot different than what we've seen before with, some wrinkles, obviously, but Coach Elko has a vision for how he wants his offense to operate. And I think, other than maybe some play calling tendencies, I think the offensive philosophy won't stray too much from what we've seen the last couple of years. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, but also, to start with, yes. And I think the different play calling can be significant, though. I think if Wiggins is more apt to throwing on early downs or running on early downs, or if he feels like 3rd and 3 is there you go. Okay, thank you. If they feel like 3rd and 3 is more of a pass down than Colin Klein, so the play calling I think can be noticeably different.
Mm-hmm.
I think what if he is more of believes a little more in tempo? That's something that I think we saw a little bit of from Colin Klein, but not a lot. So that will be an interesting, question to ask Holman Wiggins, because remember where he came from. Remember, if I'm not mistaken, he was with Fuente at Virginia Tech when they were going at a little bit more of a wide open offense, and then came to Alabama, where what they were doing offensively for how long was he there? Was there 4 years? What was it? But yeah, you can look that up. How many years he was at Bama? So you could have a little more tempo to it too.
It was 2021 to 2023.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3.
Oh wait, sorry, 2019, 2023. He was assistant head coach for 2 of those years.
4 years there. So some of that, I think you've got to have learned a lot in what they were doing offensively during that time. Obviously, he's sitting in that room. He's not sitting there quiet. He's got input. So I think there'll be I think he's going to have a little bit of his own, enough that you notice it. But like you said, yeah, the reason Elko promoted him, they ran something very similar to at Duke. He wanted something very similar here. That's why he gravitated towards Klein and Denbrock originally, and he thought those two guys fit a lot of what he was doing. It's funny in hindsight, would he have chosen Denbrock? And the only reason I say that is because of Marcel Reed. Because when they were making the hire, you thought you had a couple of years of Connor Wigman.
Right.
And you don't hire an OC for the quarterback, but if you truly knew that the first 3 years really of your tenure were going to be with this dynamic dual threat guy that was going to be evolving as a passer throughout that time, then maybe you'd gone with the guy that had just developed Jaden Daniels. And that was not something that Mike Elko could or would know. And then also I think with Denbrock, you have a little bit more maybe longevity there. Colin Klein was just unfortunate that it was K-State. I say that. I shouldn't say that because
South Florida
he did take South Florida. Like that was where that job was happening. I had the article written up and then was told he's not going to South Florida. Oh, okay, get him another year. No, he's actually K-State's coming open tomorrow and he's going to take that one. So, yeah, no, I think big part of this was Elko. He knows Holman Wiggins from 2 years in the building, and Elko is not an absentee coach on the offensive side. He is he's a very hands-on. He doesn't just go to defense and ignore offense, so he knows what's happening. He knows the personalities. He knows the input. He knows the minds that these guys have, and obviously feels good enough to put a hell of a lot on this hire. It's a really important, this season is really important. It's not like you can go, well, we got to throw away because we went to the playoffs in the second year. So if this doesn't work, we'll regroup for you. Those days are over.
Yep.
That's not a thing anymore. He wants consistency within the offense. He wants Marcel to continue to develop and evolve. But at the same time, he doesn't make that hire if he doesn't think actually like really, really highly of Holman Wiggins.
Well, if you've spent any time with Holman,
really highly,
he is very likable. He's got an it factor when you see him exchange conversations with kids. Like he's cool. There's a cool hip vibe to him. Also very good on the practice field, hands-on. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about Holman Wiggins.
And by the way, I'm just going to tell you right now, Perry is an excellent, outstanding receivers coach.
Track record.
I've talked to people at the Texans. I've talked to scouts. I've talked to people that have coached with him. Leckler played there not for him, but when he was there, he was at the Mississippi State game and saw him and just lost his mind because he had no idea that he was even coaching here. And they ran into each other, but said he's one of his favorite coaches he ever played for. And the players here like him. So, and again, I think he had a big part this year in the improvement at wide receiver, by the way. That was him and Wiggins working with those guys. So that's why, again, a lot of people don't like the promoting from within. They like to see you go higher from the outside. And I understand the thought process to that too, which is you've got a blank checkbook essentially if you ask for it. And I know factually, in some of these instances, there are people saying, hey, go, if you do this. He's got a blank checkbook, essentially, to go do that. And he knows that. And he chooses the guys inside. And some people want to translate that as some kind of flaw. I think it's a strength. Because I think he puts those people, he goes out and gets them with the intention of, if there's movement, I'll go out and get somebody. Now he's gone out and got outside people. You look at what he did at linebackers coach, but he likes guys he knows. He knows the system he wants on defense. That's why Lyle Hemphill, in his mind, is a perfect fit. And he knows what he wants to do offensively. And I think, he brought in Perry knowing that possibility that if Wiggins, I don't think he thought Wiggins is going to jump into the OC job here, but I think he knew that Wiggins was soon to be an OC. So in comes Perry. You're positioned to make that switch. He knew what was going on the defensive side of the ball. He knew that Jay Bateman was running around actively pursuing jobs a year ago. And I think both sides were probably okay with that. So what did he do? He brought in Lyle Hemphill. And so if that did happen the following year, things didn't work out, boom, you've got him here. It's what he does. Joey Lynch is the same way, who he bumped up. It's not like you left and said, hey, I'm just going to retire and I'm going to go run super marathons. Are those the 100-mile ones?
Ultras.
Ultra.
Yeah.
I'm going to become an ultra marathoner.
I thought about that.
And I know you have. I'm going to become the world's first ever ultra marathon. 40, how old?
I'm 49.
49.
There's plenty of people older than me doing it.
No. First ever 50-year-old, so you got a year to get ready.
Yeah.
First ever 50-year-old ultra marathoner /
Jiu-jitsu artist?
Jiu-jitsu artist.
Yeah.
And
I think Cam Haynes does
and
that.
if that becomes your thing, and you told me that, then I wouldn't actively go in the building and say, this is my whole pool for who I've got to replace Nuño. I did not do that with Gabe.
Right.
I made a call to the best person I knew for the job.
Thank you, sir.
Now you like that?
It's been a couple of years.
How about that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, but if there's another way to do it, which would be if you said, hey, when I turn 50, I'm going to run ultra marathons and really step up this jiu-jitsu thing. I think I'm going to retire and be the next big thing in both worlds. Then I would probably say, okay, it'd be nice to get someone in here to kind of ease that transition into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's Elko's approach. Is I think he looks at these things and see, like I think he thought Holman Wiggins, Colin Klein would not be here very long because people, and he knew that Klein was on a race to become a head coach, really young. And then Holman Wiggins, I think he knew that if he didn't get this job soon, he'd probably leave to be an OC. So the question is, either way, I'm going to probably need a receivers coach here pretty quick. So let me go get one on campus to learn our scheme and our system and our offense because I believe in it.
By the way, I'm glad you brought up both of those examples because in 26, these are the sessions I've done for my MMA. And there's already 9. And here's my running for so far. All right, we'll move on. When we come back on TexAgs Live, let's talk a little national championship game, a little Aggie basketball.
One day for content, I'm going to have people. You saw the. I don't know how much you didn't keep up with it much, but the whole stuff with Mincy and the Barstool.
I saw a little bit of that.
Went crazy on for them on with their numbers and stuff, and it was more about like just this kind of like foolishness that. Somehow I'm in that video.
Yeah, I saw you
like
Staples tweeted.
Yeah, it was fun. It was funny, but it was a fun time. Obviously, we talked about that in Chicago, but so I was kind of invested because I was on the front end of the story because the dinner was like put all their planning for the trip on hold, so it was a big to do. But so I followed it kind of intently, and then Ole Miss and my Miami crew. So I was like, it was pretty fun, and they did a great job with it. So with that said, what I think we might do is get some real, raw content. What time do you typically run in the mornings?
Usually around 6:20 in the morning.
So maybe we drive alongside of you, surprise you when you're not expecting it, taunt you, throw like cold water on you in the cold weather.
I don't mind. Yeah.
Just things to toughen you up.
You don't know me, son.
Yeah, things to toughen you up. Like was that Goggins?
Yeah, that's Goggins.
When they follow him.
Yeah, I actually watch him every morning before I go.
All right. We got more ports. We're going to do the Luchador podcast here at 11. We got Bucky McMillan coming up. Let's take a break. Take time out. Are we doing that right now or no?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Heritage Films.
Yeah. Talk about Heritage Films.
Yeah.
My good friend.
What's his name?
Chance.
That was good. Chance McClain. Check out.
You just caught me for a second there. I was like, wait, am I going to say this wrong? I know Chance.
I did the Olin thing with you.
I know Chance through you.
You may have known him before. I feel
Really?
like I don't know, maybe
From I'm talking about from
the radio
y'all in
days.
Houston, yeah.
Yeah. Chance McClain used to run 1560 The Game. This is a station that I started at years ago. Billy did the very first ever TexAgs radio on that show, by the way, on Wednesdays, believe it or not. He and Gabe would drive down and do the show. It was great. Anyway, he does documentary films now about people's families, people's family business, their family ranches. Highly recommend you get one done for your family. It is a 2-hour documentary. Spent some time with my parents this weekend, and it's great that they're still with us. You know, my dad's 95, my mom's in her late 80s, and you know, we did one with my dad a couple years back, and it's something that we are basically giving our kids to give to their kids later. And I highly recommend you do that for your family. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com. You can call them up 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Found out right before the break that Sam Levitt has officially committed.
Don't tell me.
Okay.
Ooh, man.
You want to guess? You want to put your mic on though, like a real show?
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna start by guessing that A&M's playing him.
Okay.
Next year, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. They were gonna play him at Arizona State.
Yeah.
And he decided to leave. Then he might have gone to Tech, and he didn't. I'm gonna guess.
It's not that hard.
Is it LSU?
Yeah.
Okay. I almost was gonna guess Tennessee.
Ah.
So Lane Kiffin and Levitt. Lane and Levitt.
Whoever his quarterback is, they usually have pretty good seasons.
That dude's good, man. He's good. Like, I don't want to overdo it, but I think of all the quarterbacks in the portal, if I was a coach who and had a need for a quarterback and I didn't run some kind of, intense dual threat system, I think I would have wanted Levitt or Josh Hoover.
Yep.
Hoover's going to Indiana and Levitt's going to LSU. And I think that's a massive get for LSU. I was kind of hoping against hope that they would have an issue getting, and kind of hope to strike lightning in a bottle with a Trinidad Chambliss type for that first year, but they got a future pro. And that's a massive get for them.
Yeah.
And he's going to have weapons and they're going to have speed and
they're going to be good.
And he's going to be well coached and in an offense that lets him throw. I think he could be a Heisman candidate in that offense.
Is this bad thinking that, okay, he gets a really good quarterback, but he seems to have success with whoever he puts in that position?
He does.
And so, okay, it is what it is. I expected a good quarterback play from LSU.
Offense is not a problem for Lane. They don't light it up generally like they used to early on in his time, like scoring 38, 40, 50 against decent teams and sometimes good teams. But he offensively, what I like about what Lane Kiffin has done is we think of it as a finesse, throw the ball type. They run the hell out of it.
They run the ball, yeah.
And they really run the football. And if he can, he'll run it all night, all day, all game, 60 minutes. Remember what they did at Kyle Field a few years ago. They had it was Jackson Dart.
Connor's first start, right?
It was Connor's first start. And Zach Evans was their backup tailback, and he ran pretty well. And I always forget his name.
Quinshon Judkins?
Yeah, Quinshon. When he was at Ohio State, I have no connection whatsoever to Trayvon Henderson, and I'd always remember his name. I would not remember Quinshon Judkins ever, but anyway, Judkins ran wild. Dart ran. They ran the hell out of him, and then Zach Evans ran, and they won 31-28. He really likes the run game, and I don't know if that was some kind of insistence when he was working for Saban to say, hey, you're not going to throw it 50 damn times. I don't know if that's where that was born out of, but they're going to have a really good offense. Your hope with Lane Kiffin, if you're not an LSU fan, is that all of this other stuff ultimately proves to be unmanageable. Just the distractions and the social media and just all of it, everything. And you hope that gets in the way of the work because he's really damn good and he's going to get much better players than he had at Ole Miss. The other side part is losing affects progress and trajectory sometimes. This is not Steve Sarkisian leaving as an assistant from Alabama to Texas after Charlie Strong and Tom Herman, where they're just be patient. We can go through 5 and 7. We can go through 8 and 5 the next year. This is a rebuild. This is a process. With Lane Kiffin, with the amount they paid him, with what he did at Ole Miss, This is
Expectations
a
now, right?
win immediately. It wouldn't shock us now that we got Sam Levitt if we go win a national title in year one because, Kurt Signetti was able to go 11-1 in year one and go to the playoffs. So why can't we win it? So I'm not saying that's their bottom line for an acceptable season, but I do think LSU fans are going to be expecting playoffs in year one. I do. And I think if he goes anything less than 10-2 in year one, there'll be some slight disappointment. But what if you lose a bunch of close games and go 8-4?
Right.
So I think the close game thing is going to be the difference there. But big get for them to get Sam Levitt.
I'm not seeing Heather Dinich did have a report. I'm trying to see if I can find it here on the chances of moving to a 16-team.
I saw that, and it's like Sankey isn't interested in that right now, and it was like a 16 or a 24. I would just
16 initially, then eventually a 24.
I would just hate this jacket's a little thick. This is like a literal ski jacket.
Yeah, it's a good jacket though.
And I wanted to wear it just a big puffer. I was a puffy Monday. It was a puffy Monday.
Puff Daddy. 34 degrees this morning.
Like why?
Because you said puffy. That's what I think of.
Well, that you shouldn't do that.
Sorry.
You shouldn't think of that when that word. That's an innocent word. Why wouldn't you not think of the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man?
Because I've never thought about him.
You're not a fan of Ghostbusters?
Yeah, but I think of him as the Marshmallow Man, not
No,
the
he's Stay Puffed.
There's
no such thing as the Marshmallow. It's a Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man.
I did not know that.
That's what I'm trying to dress as today. The Stay Puffed.
So back to the
It's hot though. It's hot.
Take it off, bro. You're wearing a jacket.
Now I'm just wearing a T-shirt underneath, so it's a little.
Okay, but now your microphone's.
Oh yeah, let's just wait. We'll wait.
Let's finish the thought.
We'll do luchador
without a shirt.
jacketless. Yeah.
I mean, without a jacket. Excuse me. Please leave your shirt on. Anyway,
easy Diddy.
Why you gotta go there?
You wanted me to do the show without a shirt on. I'm waiting for the baby.
Back to what we were talking about. So you don't want it to expand to 24? Is that what you were going to say?
I would be disgusted.
What do you want it to be then?
Stupidest thing I've ever seen in sports.
So what do you want?
12. I'm good with 12. I just want them to, and I don't.
The right 12.
And I don't think it's going to stay there. I do think it's going to go to 16.
And you don't think eventually it'll move up to 24?
Man, I don't know. I just really don't know. I want 12. If you want to go to 16, that's fine. Go to 16, have the first 2 rounds at home. That would be really cool. I like the 12. It's still not easy to get into it. It's still not easy to get into it. The SEC had 5 this year. In another world,
had they lost to South Carolina, A&M probably doesn't get in.
Yeah, but then. Yeah, and you're right, because then probably Notre Dame gets in, so they would have only had 4. So they're that close to having 4. Had Ole Miss, they almost lost to Washington State, of all things. They'd have been at 4. Or if someone else would have fallen out, Notre Dame jumps in. There's no guarantee that the SEC. So some years, you might have to finish in the top 4 of a 16-team SEC to get in. That's difficult. The Big Ten had how many? Big Ten had 4 this year. 3. They had 3. It's a really good league. I still think the I want to say a word. I don't know if the jackasses around college football that are so quick to want to the Joe Klatts of the world. He has no agenda. No agenda whatsoever when he's complaining about ESPN and the college football playoff. There's no ulterior motive there because he wants to sit there with his co-host screaming and yelling like he's being electrocuted during games. They want that to be the brand of college football and the product. They want to hype up the Big Ten at every turn and make every Big Ten player the Heisman winner, which this year was deserved in Mendoza. The Big Ten is they are doing now what everyone accuses the SEC. It is the most top-heavy league, and the difference is the top has gotten a lot better. Michigan finally realized their potential in coming back. Indiana is all of a sudden a juggernaut, and then obviously Ohio State has finally kind of maxed out under Ryan Day. So I hate the idea of 24, 16. It's fine. It fits. But I like it to be where you have to like truly earn your way in from these power conferences.
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, basketball talk. Bucky McMillan will join us on the show. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Talking a little Aggie basketball here on TexAgs Live. We're going to go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline because A&M basketball takes down Oklahoma. They keep winning. Let's talk about it as we go to the hotline. Bucky McMillan on the program to discuss it all. Bucky, good morning. How are you, sir?
What's up, guys? Y'all doing okay?
Yeah, man.
Doing good, Bucky. How are you after Saturday's thriller there against OU?
Oh, I wish you got to enjoy it. I was up all night watching Tennessee, these monsters from Tennessee, figuring out how we're going to rebound. But,
yeah, I watched Tennessee against I guess it was Texas last week. They look about like they tend to look, right, under Rick Barnes.
Yep. They're big and bad. They lead the country in offensive rebound rate. So anyway, he'll be good. Go up there. We're gonna have to really fight to not let him play ping pong with the ball off the glass.
Well, you guys are going up there 3-0 after. I thought I wanted to just start with Bucky. Since you've gotten here and you and I talked from, quite literally day one of what you're wanting to build, not just in terms of your basketball team, but you are one of these coaches that truly, it's not lip service. You believe it. You're religious about it, that you believe that the fan base and the team tie in together. And you've been working, you and the staff, all the way top to bottom from day one to build the fan base up, the student body. And I thought Saturday's atmosphere coming back, you had school coming back, it's kind of a perfect storm, rousing win there at Auburn. But to come home against OU, what did you think of that environment at Reed? I thought it was the first time that it popped for me so far this year to that, obviously to that degree. And then what does it mean for your basketball team to come out and play the way they did and win an SEC game in front of that crowd?
But, we want to deliver for these fans here in College Station for Texas A&M. It really is. When you have an environment like that, and you saw Reed Arena turn up there late, you saw our defense, or I guess maybe them on offense, they couldn't communicate. Our defense was turned up. Our fans were breathing down their neck. They couldn't hear a thing. And if you look at that, it was anybody's game. And then we literally, had stop after stop in the half court with our fans rallying around, not just made shots, but understanding, hey, we're going to have to stop these guys right here. And it just felt like we had, 14,000 people playing their five.
Yeah.
And in basketball, man, it just really impacts the game. And I don't know if we win the game without everybody there.
Yeah. No, I've noticed the exact same thing. And I wanted to ask you, and you said it, and I was going to ask you about half-court defense because so much emphasis on the way y'all press and the problems that causes opponents. But I thought in the final, I don't know what it was the last 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 8 minutes, but just down the stretch there, you guys got so many stops in the half court. It was, I thought it was really good team defense. And then, so what I was going to ask you is, early in the half, OU came out and they kept having that wide open three in the corner. I think might have been like 3 out of 4 possessions. What did y'all do to adjust to that? And then down the stretch, was that defense just a desire and just a bunch of, rabid dogs out there wanting to play team defense and get stops? Or did y'all adjust something in the way you were defending them?
Well, a couple things. That's a good observation. So first was, we told our guys at half, hey, listen, we saw in the first half, they're trying to bait us into some traps.
Yeah.
And like when we were saying, look, when they rise up, they're trying to bait us, just release, man. Don't go trap. And of course, what do we do the first 2 possessions? We go out there and they try to bait us and we don't release. And they get out of there and make a couple threes.
Yeah.
And, so we adjusted, they said in the media, said, man, look what we talk about, man. When you feel they're trying to bait us, you don't have to go. Just bluff it and keep them on their toes and just wear them down. You don't, with the pressure, great, we'll get turnovers. We want turnovers. But also, we're trying to lean on you and wear you down. So in the last, 8 minutes of the game, those shots are coming up short, which I thought that they did for them. They were really hot to the last 8 minutes. In the half court, look, I've said this all year long. This is the weakness of these players when we got them was not the best individual, athletic, long defenders.
Mm-hmm.
And we said it like, hey, this team's going to have to really get good at team defense because it's just not a team where it's like, hey, you got him and nobody help, I'm going to lock him up. That's just kind of not what this group is. So they got to get great at team defense. And you've seen our team defense come a long way. Like right now in SEC play, I just want to send a stat the other day, SEC on SEC, and it's adjusted for who you play. I think our defense is the fourth best right now, which is good. I mean, it's only 3 games, but that's good. And but late in that game, I tell you, we came to timeout, and we'd been switching some on the perimeter. And Marcus Hill said, man, I got 9, man. Let me get him. Let me get 9. You know? And I said, don't switch. I don't want to switch. Nobody switch. I want 9.
Yeah, Nigel Pack, by the way, who is hot.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you know, him and Ruben are the best 2 shooters in the SEC.
Yeah.
And he just was a dog out there, and you just saw that determination. And I really think it impacted our team, obviously, and maybe for the first time with Pack. You know, may have said, all right, now there's somebody here who's not going to take punches from me. That's going to punch before I can punch.
Yeah.
And that was big. So got those stops and for the most part cleaned the glass on rebounds.
Look, I want to go back to something you talked about there about wearing them down, and that's what you guys want to do. Porter Mosier acknowledged it afterwards. He talked about how their shots were short because of the way you all were playing. To do that, not only do you have to be molded by the way you guys practice that way, but also your depth. Talk to us a little bit about the ability to have so many different guys who can go and keep that same intensity going.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we do is playing hard, because if you're not playing hard, what we do doesn't work. And if you're not playing hard, you're not wearing anybody down. They're able to relax. We trust our bench. We've been in and out this year with injury, as y'all know. And so a lot of these guys got experience that they may not got as much if we were healthy the whole time. Imagine if we lose M'Baku at Christmas, but imagine if we didn't have the start of the season where we didn't have to play without him. And we're going right in SEC play, and Zach Clements or Ali Diva hadn't had any minutes. They wouldn't be able to perform like they were, because that was a huge 3 that Zach Clements made in that game. I thought that was
right after he missed
one.
It
was a 4-point game. Exactly. And we put him in there. I said, bro, I don't care. I need you to rip a couple 3s here.
Yeah.
Because their bigs were playing in drop coverage, which means they were playing back in the paint. And we just had to make a couple 3s to open that thing up. And so anyway, but he had experience early in the year because we played a lot of guys. So has Ali. And so anyway, we're going to use our bench. I mean, we got strength in numbers. You know, our first 5 is a good first 5, but, you know, I think our 10 is better than our 5. You know what I mean? If we had to play 10 on 10, I like our 10. So we're going to use our depth every way we can.
Man, I love Ollie. Just seems to be getting better and better. Pop Isaac seems to be settling in. Again, like a guy that, like you said, he missed a lot of time. I love that. I love that you bring up that Zach Clements, because he misses that, comes right off the bench, misses a 3. And I think it was either the very next possession or one after that. He gets the ball in pretty much the same spot and fires it up and drains it. And that was, like you said, a big bucket. Just these guys have confidence, it feels like right now, in what you're asking them to do within the system.
Yeah, there's a tenacity to our group and a togetherness to our group. They're a true team. You guys, y'all know me maybe surely as much as any other coach. I keep it about as real as possible. You're always going to get that from me. When they're not ready, when we're not good, when we are good, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. And I told you to take a little bit of time. We all knew that going in. I could tell you earlier in the year we weren't there yet. But these guys really care about each other and care about winning right now. And so you see a different look in that eye. And in this day and age in college athletics, that's 95% of the battle. Because, you know, everything's so transactional sometimes these days, and players coming in and out. And when you get a group that's playing for the university and not just themselves, good things can happen. And you know, we've won, 11 of our last 12 or 10 of our last 11, with our only loss being in overtime. So the results are coming because there's a togetherness and a fight to them for something bigger than themselves.
Bucky, we appreciate it. Good luck against Tennessee. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bucky.
All right, guys. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. Bucky McMillan there on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break, come back with a short final segment before we get ready for Luchador. It's TexAgs Live. Final segment of the program, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We should probably close it out with a text or two because we only got about a minute 40 left in the program. So we check back in at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. The Catalyst Pure Performance text line has got to be popping at this moment.
We've got a text from David in Temple.
David.
He says, hey, David, do you think Marcel Reed and the current A&M offense is better at a higher tempo or a slower tempo?
I think Marcel has been really good at a higher tempo. He's been really, really good. I don't know if I want that full time as your offense, right? But Billy, would you agree with that? That Marcel, especially at the end of games when they got to move the ball, they did it against USC a couple years ago. They several times that year. They did a lot this year too. When they had to move the ball, they were able to do it quickly.
Yeah, even he threw the picks against Texas, but they also went down and scored. And they went down again and were positioned to score. I think we've seen it. I think you saw it some in Miami, not just on that final drive, but the final 3 drives. And I forget the sequence, but obviously there was the one drive where they kicked the field goal, and I think that was also the one where you almost had the touchdown to KC. And then there was another drive where you got down in there. I think it was a little shorter of a drive, but you got into striking distance again. Looked like you were going to, I think, go ahead 6-3, if not 10-3. And then you had a big penalty that set you back. So they had 3 drives, though, where I felt like they moved the ball better with tempo. And so, yeah, I think a lot of players do that, but I think a lot of teams are better with that. But I like Marcel in particular when he can play a little faster.
That'll do it for TexAgs Live here on a Monday. We'll see you mañana. Josh Pate on the show.